Welcome to the Fantasy Champions Fantasy Football Podcast. Here's your host, Morgan Colby and Rick Lemon.
What's poppin', fantasy champs? I ain't even in the center of the screen. Let me just scoot my caboose over. What's poppin', Rick?
What's going on, bro?
Nothing much. Welcome to Fantasy Champions Fantasy Football Podcast. My name is Morgan Colby. I got Rick Lemon with me, as always, on the other side of the courtroom. And today, we're going to bring you a Thursday night football preview for Week 3. So Week 3 Thursday night football preview. Should be exhilarating. Actually, this episode... Well, I say it, and then it doesn't happen. So this episode is going to be an hour long.
Yes.
Now that I said that, I know it's going to be shorter.
We'll see how it goes.
We'll see how it goes. But anyway, yeah, we got a Thursday night preview. Are you excited about this game, Rick? You excited?
I am, because I like football, and I like Sam Darnold, and I like Christian McCaffrey.
I'm trying not to be over judgmental.
But, the average fan?
No.
You think this is worse than last week? In terms of...
Well, see, what could have been horrible ended up being really good.
Right. But sometimes that's how these crappy games are.
And then sometimes you have 5 interceptions for both quarterbacks, and
pure garbage. I don't see that happening.
Somebody loses their week to a defense. What are you going to say?
Davis Mills, I guess we'll get to that in a minute, but we do have a rookie quarterback starting, so making his first career start.
I'm trying to trade him.
Too. In the only few leagues I have.
I'm like, let's go.
Like, everybody has the same plan.
Trade him. Yeah, it won't happen. Somebody literally tweeted, trade him for a second round pick. I'm like, okay, hold on a second. Who's going to take him for a second round pick?
Yeah, I was going to say, I'll take him.
If he goes off,
a third.
That's what I was going to say. I'll take a third too. I don't even know what I used to pick on him, but I'm so depleted in one.
It was like a late third.
Freaking.
He just upgrade a few spots.
Super flex leagues just kill you.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, we'll talk about all the Thursday night football things in 1 second. Before we do, check out our website, fantasychampions.com. Follow us on all social media platforms. Find us, FF Champs, Fantasy Champions, whatever. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or any other podcast platforms, leave a review, share this podcast with your friends. If you're watching on YouTube, click the bell for notifications, and then comment down below. And just engage with us, please. Likes and comments. That's what I need. And subscriptions. That would be good, but those doesn't really help us.
Not help it as much as it used to.
Yeah, it doesn't help as much as it used to. The YouTube algorithm will love you if you like and comment, though. Even if you want to say, Morgan, you're ugly. Rick's better at fantasy.
I'll take that. That comment was actually from me.
Yeah, you got some burner accounts out?
Yeah.
Some burner Twitter accounts? I agree.
Not Ricky Lemon.
At not Ricky Lemon. _ FF. Anyway, let's jump into the Thursday night preview. As always, we're going to go through each position on the corresponding teams. We're going to try to do this in a cohesive and what's the word I'm looking for? Quick manner. That's not the word I was looking for, but I'm just going to use that one to make it quicker and easier. So yeah, we'll start with the home team, go to the road team, and let's get started.
We'll talk about this Thursday night matchup.
All right, so they're in no sense, in no way, unless you're in a dynasty league with Superflex and you have 2 quarterbacks and one is Davis Mills. Even in that context, I would start anybody over Davis Mills.
You got to be in like a 14-team Superflex league, or having a starting quarterback
somewhere out there. I'm going to pull this up on Fantasy Pros right now, where I have him. I want to see. Oh, Fantasy Pros crashed. I mean, the Sleeper app. Because I want to see how many leagues. There's a percentage underneath players where it says, hey, this guy is starting in this percentage of leagues, right?
Mm-hmm.
So right now, Davis Mills is being started in 3% of fantasy leagues. 3%. I don't know. I'm gonna have to go out on a limb and say that's not a good idea.
Yeah.
But there might be a 32-team fantasy league out there that's Dynasty, Superflex. I don't even know how you do that.
it's very difficult
A
for
32
sure.
team 2 quarterback league. That would be
Oh my gosh. Yeah, then you're starting Davis Mills.
Taysom Hill would be commodity in that league.
Yeah. Same with Trey Lance and the QBBC.
Yeah, the QBBCs. But anyway, yeah, Davis Mills. It's exciting to see him come in. If you're a dynasty phenom or a super flex phenom, you're like, I need this. It's exciting to see him play. He shouldn't be started in any formats though. And I think he actually probably decreases the whole team.
Yeah, probably. Although, I think of his 18 pass attempts, I want to say 10 of those went to Brandon Cooks.
I saw that tweet today.
Or like 9 of them went to Brandon Cooks.
That's ridiculous.
So, yeah. I mean, hey, he could continue to be fine.
I mean, he wasn't good.
Brandon Cooks?
No, bro, Brandon Cooks. Davis Mills.
Oh, yeah, Davis Mills. He was 8 for 18 with a touchdown and an interception.
8 for 18. All right, below 50%.
Yeah, that 8 for 18 is definitely horrible,
like
but he did throw a touchdown
pass. He's got the same completion percentage
Cooks
right now as Trevor Lawrence.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah, that's not good. So yes, as a fantasy analyst talking about this Thursday night game, I would say do not start Davis Mills in any context. But Rick had a nice segue into Brandon Cooks, so let's talk about him. He did have 10 targets from Davis Mills. I think the next closest guy was like with 2 targets.
Yeah, it was something like that.
So
nobody else had 3.
I would think that here's the thing. In a PPR league, it depends on the type of targets. How many of those targets did he catch? Do you know?
He had 14 targets and 9 receptions.
Okay, so that's not bad. Yeah, so in a PPR league, I think Brandon Cooks would be in an okay second or third flex option. Maybe a first flex. Maybe.
I think he can even be a first. Yeah, okay. He's like the wide receiver. I want to say he's in the top 20 for wide receivers this year so far. I know it's only 2 weeks, but
it's just a tough look when you have Davis Mills. They're probably not going to move the ball. It is,
yeah.
And the Panthers defense has just
maybe some trash time points.
Maybe some trash time points, but they've been one of the best pass rushing defenses in the NFL this year so far in 2 games. I think they lead the league in sacks, but I could be wrong. I think they have 9 so far as a team. So anyway, when you look at the Panthers going up against Houston, it spells really bad things for Davis Mills, which Brandon Cooks might get targeted, but I don't know how much real opportunity the kid's going to get to have success with those targets is kind of where I'm at. So, I mean, as a first flex, maybe. It depends on what you have on your bench. There will be an internal discussion for me. But if your bench consists of, wide receiver 4s or running back 3s and 4s, I would say don't start them. Start Brandon Cooks.
Yeah,
but he's a starter. I would say he's the only startable option for this offense.
Yes, he is 100%.
Because you also have guys like Chris Conley and Anthony Miller at the wide receiver position. Was that a gagging sound?
Yes, it was.
I totally agree with that. That's a gross prospect. Neither one of those guys should even be rostered.
Yeah, no, they shouldn't. 100%.
Now, because I knew the Texans were going to take like 4 minutes. But and the tight end too, like Pharaoh Brown. And there's another guy, Ian Thomas, or maybe that's a different team. I don't know. But
Jordan Akins.
Or is it Jordan Akins? Because I think Ian Thomas is on the Panthers.
Jordan Akins had 1 catch for 17 yards.
Yeah, so either one of those guys is not even worthy of a starting.
You're not starting.
Yeah, when you have Davis Mills, I'm questioning starting Brandon Cooks. Then you start the tight end. Now, I would think it would be smart for Houston to just run the freaking crap out of the ball.
I think they're going to try.
They're going to try. I don't know how efficient it's going to be against Carolina, but they are going to try to run the football a lot. And I think even if they're losing, I think if you're Houston, you're just like, there comes a point where you just know you suck. And now that would be the case. Any hope they had got hurt with Tyrod Taylor. So I think, which is surprising to say because I did not think.
Tyrod Taylor he was actually pretty good first 2 weeks of the season.
Yeah, 100%. But anyway, Mark Ingram has been the lead back for this team. It was a little bit more split this week between him and Phillip Lindsay. David Johnson's been an afterthought, pretty much not getting a lot of opportunity in that offense. Phillip Lindsay has been getting very small portions of work, but he's, to me, droppable. Him and David Johnson are droppable in leagues if you happen to draft either one of those guys. But Mark Ingram, obviously I would hold him. He's getting all the opportunity in that backfield, and I don't think he's a start this week.
No.
But I think in some leagues, if you needed a second or third flex and you were desperate, like Mark Ingram could be an okay thought. This offense blows right now, so
it blows, and he's the lead back right now on the ground. But if you're in a PPR league, he still has such little value because he's getting zero receiving work that goes to Lindsay and David Johnson when it comes to the backfield. He is getting the most carries. This past week, he had 14 carries, which is pretty good. But he had 14 carries for 41 yards, 2.9 yards per carry. And honestly, unless they're playing the Jaguars, I feel like that's how it's going to be most of the season. He's going to get 3 yards a carry.
Yeah.
So unless he scores a touchdown, he's going to get you 4 or 5 fantasy points a week.
That's pretty much what Mark Ingram was with Baltimore. Not the 2.9 yards a carry. He was a little more efficient, but he was kind of unless he scores a touchdown.
No passing work.
Yeah, passing work unless he scores a touchdown kind of guy. Which I think he had with Tyrod. With Davis Mills, I don't know that that's there.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
I'd agree.
Maybe he breaks off a 20-yard run.
What if Davis Mills is
he's just a
all-pro quarterback?
He ends up being Mahomes.
Best rookie, 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no. From
he
what
passes
I saw
everyone in one
Mills,
game.
Yeah, no. I expect 2 or 3 interceptions on Thursday night.
Yeah, so the only Texan that I would consider starting is Brandon Cooks, and even at that, I think it would be reasonable for you to sit him if you needed to. But yeah, it's such a gross team. Let's get to the real fantasy outlook here.
Yeah,
because whatever that is, I typed it out and I was like, what am I looking?
Good luck with any of it.
I was like, yeah, if you want to start a Texan, feel free. I ain't rooting for it.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's move to the Panthers. They are the road team against Houston. Houston's defense is, as noted, been porous and not very good. So this should be a good week. Should be a good week for the Carolina Panthers to put up a lot of fantasy points and put up a lot of regular real life points, if that makes sense. Darnold has been in non 6-point leagues. It's edging whether or not I would start him because it was two 18-point games. We're in a 5-point touchdown league, so those 20-point games are hard to come by. I look at the numbers and I'm like, ooh, 20 points, and then it doesn't really matter because I'm in a 5-point touchdown league and I'm getting confused. I know that's a thing, but either way, Darnold. Would you start him against Houston?
I think he's honestly a good option if you're streaming quarterbacks. Or if you're in a super flex league, obviously you start him. But yeah, if you're just playing, if you have a decent quarterback like that you drafted, I'm still not going out of my way to start him. I don't think he's a top 10, top 12 quarterback.
Yeah.
I think he's probably going to finish in that 12 to 16 range of quarterbacks. So he could be a decent option streaming wise. I think he has a good week. He had 20 points, I think, in each of his first 2 weeks of the season, or just about 20 points. So, and again, that was against the Saints, and then obviously the Jets, which was an easier matchup. He had 18 and 18.9. So I think he gets around there again. He gets another 18, 19-point week, which is decent, startable, but not really going out of my way to play.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Definitely streamable. You don't have, I've talked about on, I think it was Monday's show or Tuesday's show or whatever it is, that the quarterback position is I feel like it's pretty loaded with guys that can put up fantasy points. So,
yeah,
I mean, every single team has a guy in most of my leagues that is sufficient at the quarterback position where you don't need to stream, which is not something normally happens. But There are usually one or two teams in a 12-team league that do need a quarterback on a week-to-week basis to stream. So that would probably be Darnold or Bridgewater or somebody like that. So, yeah. I mean, Darnold is streamable, but at this point, again, against Houston, he's definitely streamable, but I don't know what kind of fantasy point upside he is going to provide. Like, he's not going to score 30. I could be wrong about that, but I would say he's not.
Yeah, no, I don't think he gets 30, but I mean, the way the Panthers are playing in the Thursday Night Football and the Texans, yeah, who knows?
DJ Moore against Houston. I think you're already starting him. That's an automatic.
Yeah, you are.
But what are your expectations for DJ Moore in this game?
I think it's pretty good. He's obviously starting for you. He's probably your wide receiver 2. He might even be your wide receiver 1, depending on how your draft went. He's coming off a week where he had in half PPR pretty much 18 fantasy points. He had 11 targets against the Saints team, going up against Marshall and Lattimore too, I believe, which was impressive. He made some impressive catches. It's clear he is the top target.
Yeah.
I actually really, really like DJ Moore this week. I think he could have another week where he gets 18, maybe even up to 20 fantasy points.
Yeah. This is going to be the week where Houston shows their true colors.
Yeah. This is the best wide receiver I think Houston has faced. I mean, Corey Davis put up, or not Corey Davis. Who did they play in week 1? DJ Chark. Chark put up okay numbers, but he was also inefficient in week 1. So I think DJ Moore is going to light him up.
Yeah, I agree. So far this year, he has 19 targets in 2 games. So that's pretty good. I like that. I like that number. That's an average
like
of
that a lot too.
But more than that, more than 9.5. But
no, and he would be on my fantasy team in our home league if it wasn't for you. So that's also unfortunate.
The first time I have DJ Moore on my team, he actually starts playing well. And just like that, DJ Moore doesn't score any fantasy points this week.
Yeah, get shut out.
He gets shut out. But anyway, yeah, I could see a 8 to 12 target game for him again this week. The efficiency is probably going to be there, so that's good. I think he has a really good game against Houston, and he's definitely should be your wide receiver 1 or 2 this week. He is starting on Thursday night though, so remember, keep him in your wide receiver 1 or 2 slots, so that you don't have a problem where you get stuck at just having a wide receiver instead of having an open flex spot if somebody gets hurt or inactive last second. So be sure to have him in your wide receiver 1 or 2 slots. Anyway, Robbie Anderson, he has been an interesting player. I think a lot of people thought he was going to be a lot better with Sam Darnold, and I could go back and look at the Jets numbers, and it's the Jets, but he wasn't that good. So with Sam Darnold, that is. He's had a total of 9 targets this year. His snap percentage went down like 8 points this past week. He only scored 5, so he has 12-5 on the season. It's clear
he did have 6 targets, but
he did have 6 targets. But it is clear to me that Robbie Anderson is taking a back seat to guys like DJ Moore and Christian McCaffrey, which is what you would anticipate.
Yep.
Even Terrace Marshall, who's coming in, it looks to me like they're splitting opportunities. They both have 9 targets on the season, I think. So it's like it's clear Terrace Marshall is the wide receiver 3, who I'll throw in this conversation as well. But Robbie Anderson and Terrace Marshall are both getting the same target share. So for Sam Darnold, I think he's just looking at guys like DJ Moore and Christian McCaffrey.
Those are the 2 that are controlling the offense, for sure.
Right. He's just getting it to the more talented guys. But if they don't use Robbie Anderson a little bit more, what are they paying him? $24.5 million?
Yeah, they just gave him that big contract.
It's like, I could be wrong about the number, but it's a lot of money for a guy that they only targeted 9 times in 2 games. So, I mean, he's a vertical touchdown threat.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, would you start him this week against Houston? If you're questioning starting him, I feel like Houston's a good matchup, but it is a Thursday night game.
Yeah,
so
right. I would consider him in my flex if I have him on my team, but if you have better options, go with him. You're not going out of your way to start Robbie Anderson at this point in the season.
Yeah,
I do think he is still the number 2 receiver on that team, just because if you look at the snap percentages, he's still, 75% compared to Terrace Marshall, who's still at 50. But he's definitely not DJ Moore. DJ Moore is the 100% wide receiver one on that team. But if Robbie Anderson's going to have a decent week, it'll probably be this week against Houston or next week against Dallas.
Oh yeah, so, yeah, I agree.
I think it would be okay to start Robbie Anderson if you feel like you need to start him. Like I would be okay with it just because of his matchup. But again, if he's on your bench and he's just a bench player, a bench piece for you, don't just put him in your lineup unless you have to.
There is questions surrounding Terrace Marshall too. I've seen several fantasy outlets say to straight up drop Terrace Marshall
in redraft.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't. I don't know. He hasn't been good. I mean, he's good in the sense of for a rookie and like his targets and stuff. It's encouraging, but he is the fourth receiving option on the Panthers.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you really need that.
He's a fourth receiving option, the wide receiver 3. So I mean, unless something happens to Robbie Anderson, it looks to me like Terrace is probably definitely going to take a back seat. I mean, he might get some decent games in, but yeah. I mean,
and maybe by the end of the year, he might take over Robbie Anderson's spot as the number 2 receiver.
Which would mean that check they just wrote is even more a waste of money.
Right. But yeah, unless you want to pay a wide receiver 3 that much money, which is
right.
Dumb.
So yeah, as far as Terrace Marshall this week, I mean, it is Houston. So Houston and Dallas the next 2 weeks. Like if there's any week where he's gonna be good, it would be this one. But I'm not gonna start him unless I know that A, the target share's there, and B, he's had a good week before. You know what I mean? Which neither of those two things happen. So say he goes off against Houston next week when we have a conversation about Terrace Marshall. Is he a good start against Dallas? If he has a good game against Houston, I would say, maybe. But I want to see what kind of opportunity, what kind of efficiency, and what kind of performance we can see from Terrace Marshall against a bad matchup before we start rolling him out into our lineups.
Right.
So Chuba Hubbard's out. Don't even think about that guy.
Royce Freeman?
Royce, I forgot Royce is there. Yeah, Royce is out too. No way.
No.
And then neither of the tight ends. Darnold has had some interesting opportunities with Carolina so far. The new, what is it? What's
he had 3 catches this week.
Who's our guy from last year from the Jets?
Oh, Chris Herndon.
The new Chris Herndon up here. You have 4 targets, 3 catches, 55 yards, 7 fantasy points. Houston, Dallas next 2 weeks. Once again, easier matchups. I don't like Dan Arnold. I don't think he's a good pass catching tight end. He's a good blocker, but that's about it. So I would say that he's out. Chuba Hubbard is in / Royce Freeman out. And then that leaves Christian McCaffrey. How many points did he have last week?
22. And that was against the Saints, though, so it was kind of a tougher matchup.
Yeah, this is like a.
I think you can write in 20 points.
This is like most likely. I just have that feeling that this game is going to be like 21-0 by half, and then
that's actually a concern. Yeah, that the Panthers just blow them out.
It's just like at least it's a Thursday night game.
The spread on this game is Panthers -8, and I saw someone on Twitter saying that you should take the Houston Texans on that because it's a Thursday night trap, and like any team that has an 8-point favorite, like you shouldn't be betting on them. And I was thinking about that, and I'm like, yeah, but Davis Mills is playing for Houston, and what do you think the chances are?
What do you think they're going to walk out there and win? Oh my god!
Right, or even a 1-score game. I don't see it. I think the Panthers are gonna.
The way Sam Darnold has been playing, the way this offense is playing, it's unlikely.
And the way the defense has been playing too. Like I think the Panthers are kind of an underrated team, and they're 2-0, but people are not like. They're just like, oh, they're still the Panthers.
Right.
From the last few seasons. Like, I think this team, I'm not saying they're a playoff team, but they're going to compete. Like, they're going to be in that conversation.
Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree. Okay, any more thoughts on Christian McCaffrey before we start him, obviously?
Christian McCaffrey, yeah.
Don't even...
Probably the RB1.
Discuss it. But, so anyway, yeah, the guys I really like this week, Darnold, Moore, McCaffrey, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Brandon Cooks maybe on edge.
Would you start Brandon Cooks or Robbie Anderson? You have both guys in flex.
Ooh.
I'm starting probably Brandon Cooks, but
I would start Robbie Anderson. I'll take the hot. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Okay.
All right, guys. We got I think we got starts and sits tomorrow. So check that episode out and then trade targets on Friday. See you then.
Later, guys.
Thank you for listening to the Fantasy Champions Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on iTunes and YouTube and follow us on Twitter @TheFFChamps.